Oh, hello. Welcome. Today, I'm going to be cleaning my PC. Take it apart, clean all the dust out of it, because it's been probably too long since I've cleaned it. So we're going to see how bad it is. Okay, we got it out. I have the Wi-Fi antenna that came with my motherboard on it at the moment, just because we had floods a month or two ago. Our internet dropped out for like several days, so I was hotspotting from my phone, so I had this on and I just never took it off. Now let's take a look at the damage. Right, this dust filter doesn't actually do anything, because I don't have it over the vents here, because this is exhaust, not intake. So it doesn't really need a filter. So I just thought adding the filter on here does increase resistance, so that's not really what you want, especially on an exhaust through a radiator. It's already through a radiator right there, so not ideal. But there's plenty of dust on the top of there. That is kind of disgusting. Alright, let's start taking it apart and see how bad the rest of it is. Alright, so first thing I'm going to check after the that top filter is I'm going to look at the bottom filter. Oh, that's not good. So this is an intake. Oh, look at that dust. Hold on, you can see it, yeah, against my shirt there. So there are 3 intake fans here, so we definitely want to get rid of all this dust. Surprisingly, oh, there's some dust on the bottom of here. I don't know if you can see it. There's a bit, but I mean, that's kind of the job of the filters, is to stop that as much as possible. Okay, now with the 011 dynamic, to get any panel off, you have to take off the top panel. So you unscrew these thumb screws here, slide it back, and it comes off. Now, being as this is an exhaust, there is really no dust on this one, so that's fine. A little bit of dust just sort of sitting on top, but that's nothing to really worry about. I'm thinking I might take the fans off my radiator, just because there's probably a decent amount of dust in between them. Now the top panel's off, you can slide the front and side panels off. I can't see any like obvious dust, but we give it a wipe. It's actually not too bad. I'm surprised. Now the intake fans seem to have a little bit. These fans here seem to have a little bit. You probably can't see it because it's grey dust on grey fans, but that's yeah, I'm actually surprised how not dusty it is. This is weird. So what would be ideal right now is to have some like compressed air, but I don't, so I'm just gonna sort of wipe things down, I guess. Yeah, I'm actually really surprised how little dust there is. And if we turn it around, we can do the same thing for the back panel. As you can see, we have fans here, and then there's also the power supply right here. So this is an intake, and then this entire side is an intake. So we have filters on the side here. That's surprising. I don't know if you can see that. Wait, hold on. Yeah, you can see that. If you look at it against the black, that's quite dusty, and that is fair. It's very even. And let's see if this one is actually very similar, surprisingly. Can we see it? Not really. You can kind of see it. It's just pretty general, like even dust throughout the whole thing. I think what I might do is just brush all the dust off and then just like vacuum it after. So that's kind of surprising. And the metal here is all dusty as well. Not ideal. This is like, ugh. Yeah, that's a fair amount. Probably won't make a huge difference for cooling or anything like that, but we don't want it to get bad. So maintenance is a good thing. Yeah, look at this. This is just all that brushed off from just from those 2 filters. See what these fans are like? They got a bit on them. Not a heap though. Yeah, a can of air would be real nice right now. Also, this panel here, hiding all my lack of cable management, because if you look in here real close, there's just a heap of cables, right? I didn't really do much with them, like tie them down or anything like that. I just sort of like shoved them there, put that on top. Now the reason I did that is because I'd ordered these cable ties and they hadn't arrived yet when I built this, when I like rebuilt my computer in this case. So I was like, oh yeah, I'll just take it apart when I get them and I'll do it later. But I just didn't. And it's not really necessary, like cable managing the inside of your PC that you can't even see ever. Not necessary, right? I built this just before Christmas in this case, so it's been several months, yet I'm surprised how little dust there is. I think I've like taken it apart once or twice since then, but not really to do anything or move anything. I can't remember why. Now if we lay down here too, so we're looking at the radiator right now, and these fans are blowing air through the radiator up out the top of the case, but there's not even that much dust on the radiator. Like, yeah, I guess having positive pressure and air filters kind of does their job. Like there's a little bit, you can see that, there's a little bit. Speedrun setup tour. Ryzen 9 5900X, NZXT X53, AEST B550M Pro AX motherboard, 32 gigs of XPG 3200 megahertz RAM, Gainwood GeForce RTX 3070. On the motherboard I have a 500 gig and a 1 terabyte SSD. The 1 terabyte is a Samsung 980. I'm not sure what the 500 gig is because it's the one that came in the pre-built and it has its own little heatsink on it, so I never took that off. I also have a 2 terabyte hard drive in there, in the back sled right there. This is hard drives here, so it can actually, there's the hard drive right here. You can fit 2 in here. They just go into their little sleds. So if I need to upgrade storage, I can either get a 2.5mm SSD or a 3.5mm hard drive, slot it in there, or there's plenty of spots to attach them on the inside of this little panel here. So plenty of room to upgrade storage if I need to. The power supply here is an AEST AP850GM. Don't tell anyone, but I ordered a 750 and they sent an 850, but I'll take it. And that's pretty much it, other than the fans. These are just Corsair maglev fans. They're the premium ones, but they were pretty cheap. They're like $40 for 2 packs, so I just got 3 2-packs, and then yeah, we got 6 in there as intakes, and then we have the 2 fans on the radiator as exhausts. And the reason I have that is because positive pressure allows air to be leaked out through the holes in the case, like these vents here, which means that the dust isn't going to leak into those holes, right? So if I've got 6 fans worth of air pulling in and only 2 pushing out, there's gonna be more air inside, right? So the pressure is gonna be higher since the air is being forced in. That means that the extra air that'll just sort of leak out that isn't being blown out by the fans will leak out through the gaps in the case itself, in these vents, and just any sort of holes in the case, anywhere where air can get out. And the benefit to this is that dust can't really get in there, right? Because air is always being leaked out slightly, so dust can't really just find its way in. If I had it the other way around, if I had more exhaust fans than intake fans, then these little gaps in the case would then be sucking air in, which we do not want, because that'll suck all the dust in, everything will get very dusty. Not great for components of computers to be dusty. So I think now I just put all the panels back on, get it back in place, and then start plugging everything back in. Maybe try and do a little bit better cable management than I previously did, because there's a lot of cables there, so it is difficult, but we'll see. Right, so now comes the difficult part. I gotta put this back in here and then plug everything back in after I clean this box that this sits on. That's quite dusty. Hold on, BRB. Okay, that's reasonably clean now. The issue here is I have the PC behind this leg of my desk, right? But I need to put it in the middle and then slide it across, but then there's all the cables there and there's power brick, and anyway. Okay, that's probably about where we want it. Now I need to plug everything back in. Okay, so that was pretty much it. That actually was way quicker than I thought it was going to be. That'll be all for this one. Thank you for watching. If you have any ideas for future videos for me to do, please let me know. Subscribe if you're new here. Like the video if you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Make sure you're subscribed, because I have an idea for a new series that I'm going to start doing on here. Very excited to do it. It's going to be quite educational, I think, and yeah, just keen to get it started. May have already started it by the time you're seeing this, but it'll be coming very soon, so make sure you subscribe. Bye.